so mean to me. Yeah, you don't know what you mean to me. And no girl, I ain't friendly. Bring 2 girls over, we can get friendly.
Shorty won't ride with me. Book a flight, come fly with me. She won't spend the night with me.
Yeah, hey, shorty won't ride with me. Shorty won't slide with me. She won't get high with me. No, you wouldn't lie to me. Said she would die for me. Shorty won't ride with me.
Welcome to the Meat Pack Sports Podcast, where motherfuckers get their dick chopped off, where bitch-ass motherfuckers get their head and shit ripped off, and then they get pissed down a motherfucking decapitated-ass, mutilated head/throat, my nigga, you feel me? Bitch-ass motherfuckers will feel the goddamn wrath of all involved, my nigga, you know what I mean? It's uncut, it's dirty as fuck, and bitch, we deliver the motherfucking goods each and every time for you bitch motherfuckers.
All right, you heard that here first. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to the Meat Pack Sports Podcast. Today's date is 10/30/2020, one day away from spooky Halloween. But this is the Meat Pack Sports Podcast, baby. I got 2 co-hosts with me per usual. You already know who they are, Mr. Mike Richmond.
Salami Squad.
There you go, Mr. Nicholas Twigg. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
What's up, partner? I am your host, per usual, Michael Rogers. Let's get started today. We're going to talk about a little bit of football. Got some good matches coming up this week. Good little slate slotted for Sunday there. Let's get into it there. Just want to talk about a couple games here to get us rolling. I'm going to talk about one just because we got the Eagles fans here. I want to talk a little Eagles-Dallas action. Is this at Dallas or at Philly? I'm not sure.
I believe it's in Dallas. I could be wrong, though.
I think so.
Nope, it is in Philly, boys.
Sunday night game.
Prime time.
Yeah, for the second time in a row, dude. It could have been any other game on there. How the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game was not the Sunday night game, I'll never know. But we'll talk about that game here in a second. But yeah, we'll just get started with a little Eagles-Dallas going into this game. Yeah, I think Carson Wentz is going to have a big Carson Wentz day. I think this will be a game where I think they should win. I definitely think the Eagles should win. Maybe he starts to heat up and maybe they start getting rolling here. And this is a big tide turner to see who's going to walk away with that division with a home playoff game. The only thing I could potentially see Dallas maybe making a push is just because of that offensive line in Philly. You know, if the Dallas pass rushers ever start to heat up and warm up, you know, this would especially be the game to do it. Possibly just take advantage of how bad that offensive line is for Philly and how many sacks Carson Wentz has been eating. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think the Eagles offense will have a field day, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think about that matchup?
I think the Cowboys offensive line is worse than the Eagles, which is kind of hard to believe.
Yep.
They're pretty banged up as well with Zach Martin out. I think Eagles are missing a couple of pass rushers as well, but I think it should be a pretty easy win for the Eagles. I say that now, but it should be a pretty easy win, I would think, at least. But
I have 100% faith in the Eagles here. Just like Twig said, The Cowboys have the same problem as us, if not worse, going in there against Ben DiNucci. This dude thought he was going to be an accountant somewhere today. Turns out he's playing NFL football on Sunday.
Quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
But just looking into the matchups, we got Darius Slay out there. He's going to match up on Amari Cooper. He's probably going to lock that fool down, especially with a inexperienced quarterback, as well as our front four is going to eat up Ben DiNucci. They're going to Gabaguchi, if you will. Jalen Reagor is back in action, coming back off the IR. Whether you like his impact or not with his one catch of the season, it's just another option for Carson to have. So that's
one more than I got.
True.
And I just got a lot of faith in Darius Slay and this front four of the defense to hold it down, because the offense obviously is going to have issues, but I don't know. They'll get some points in there.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine Zeke gets about 20 touches this game. The offense probably runs through him, I would imagine, with DiNucci out there. So
he just hasn't been looking the same lately. I'm not sure what's going on with Zeke. We've been seeing a lot of fumbles coming out of that. And, my biggest takeaway with this whole Dallas situation is I think Dak Prescott's stock just rose all the way up. I mean, they were still losing games when he was there. I mean, he has their only 2 wins. But at least they were in most of the games, a lot of fourth quarters. He would come back and they'd look like they'd get pretty close. But then you had Dalton in there and it didn't even look competitive at all. So I'm ready to see kind of what's going to happen with Dak Prescott once he comes back from injury. But we'll just see. That'll be a good game Sunday night. Be there or be square. Second game we want to talk about, which I just briefly mentioned, was Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Which I think should have been a primetime game. But either way, I mean, that's probably the hypest game for me to see this season. I said last week, after Pittsburgh's win over Tennessee, that now I was just kind of waiting to see this matchup to see who's possibly not only gonna come out on top of the AFC North, but potentially the AFC maybe meet up with the Chiefs. And I don't know. I've seen the lines on this game and whatnot. I wouldn't be willing to make any pick. I don't know. This would be the one game I would shy away from, putting any money on.
Again, I don't understand how Steelers back-to-back games are underdogs. In this game, they're a 5.5-point dog. That just seems off again to me, like the line last week. It should be. I think it will end up being a low-scoring game. Both those defenses are super, super solid.
Yeah.
It just depends how well they can contain Lamar, I think. That's pretty much what it comes down to for me.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's got a solid pass defense too. I think we'll see a big running game out of both teams. I think we'll see both teams' offenses be pounding the ball a lot, just because Pittsburgh has such a good secondary. They're all around just a great defense. But, I could definitely see a low-scoring game. Like I said, 5.5.
Doesn't seem right.
I don't know. It's crazy to think that for a 6-0 team, but they do have the 23rd, I think, offense in the league or something like that, which is crazy to see that they're 6-0, but they're just figuring it out. It'll be a solid game to match. A solid game to watch. That's one of the more hype games, like I said, we're looking forward to seeing this year, and that should be a fun one. Keep going down the line here. We're not going in order or whatnot, but do a little Vikings Green Bay action. My take on this is, the Vikings got a solid rush offense. You're going to have Dalvin Cook back for the Vikings. I think it's solid if he can have a Dalvin Cook kind of day. I think that'll be good. I know Green Bay isn't the best in the secondary. But, I don't think First Cousins is going to be picking anybody apart. I just don't think he's that kind of quarterback. But like you said, I didn't know what you said you had, Twig, but I got Green Bay in this game all the way.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I like Packers -7 quite a bit. And if we're playing DFS, I like Aaron Rodgers as quarterback with Devontae Adams. I think they have a big chance to break the slate. I know Devontae Adams did go for 3 touchdowns last week. I don't think he puts up those kind of numbers again, but I would not be surprised to see him for at least 100 yards and a touchdown. That's definitely not out of the question week to week for him.
I agree with you. The under over is 50.5 on this. I'm definitely taking the over on that. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be one of the first games too. We're going to see some shitty weather come into play, but I think both these teams are accustomed to playing in shitty weather, being in that division. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a great game. Definitely want to watch this one.
Oh yeah. A lot of talks too of Will Fuller from the Texans possibly getting traded to Green Bay.
That would be dirty.
I think that'd be dirty. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, but he's one of those bigger Julio Jones types possession kind of guys. It'd be nice to get Will Fuller in that offense, be the speed demon he is. Well,
I think you see too, like in the Atlanta offense, it's okay to have more than one star receiver. Like Julio and Calvin Ridley are such a deadly combo. Same thing in Seattle, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Like having more than one just takes so much pressure off.
Oh yeah, and that's all those matchups you just said are definitely like possession guys, and then your speed guy, which is just the perfect 1-2 combos that you should have. Then obviously a slot guy or something, but definitely looking forward to that Green Bay matchup. Next, we'll talk about it for some reason. I don't know why. We'll talk about Jets Chiefs. I don't think.
Exactly. It's almost not worth talking about.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. Don't show the ticker. We got some Colts Lion action. I like the Colts in this game.
This is a toughie.
Huh?
This is a tough one. You say you're taking Colts in this?
I like the Colts. I like the Colts defense. Just with the Lions secondary being younger, I think Philip Rivers could go out there and maybe have himself a day. I really like the rookie running back they have. I got him on my fantasy.
Jonathan Taylor, he's a stud. Too.
Jonathan Taylor's a stud. But yeah, I think I like the Colts. I don't know what the line is, but I know the Lions.
It's super close. I think Colts are like -2.5 or something.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. Lions coming off a big game last week, a little fourth quarter, last play win for them against Atlanta. I just don't know. I don't know. The Lions are in a tricky spot this year. Just, with Matt Stafford being their quarterback, I just think they're one of those teams where I don't think they're ever going to be like 2-14 or like a 10-6. I think they're always just going to be in that middle of the road pack, picking between like 15 and 20 in the draft. I don't think they'll ever be good enough, at least with just the team they have right now and Matt Patricia at the helm, to really make any kind of play. I think this year they definitely have the biggest possibility with, the Vikings being bad, and with the Bears, we'll see how they go for the rest of the year. But I think at max maybe a 7-9 record. But I think I definitely like the Colts here. I just like the matchup of the Colts offense versus the Lions defense. Lions just traded for somebody too. I'm not too sure. They just traded for someone from the Cowboys, I think, which is Everson Griffin there. Which that'll be able to help them out, be a good locker room guy for some of the younger cats on that team. But, yeah, I don't know. What you think about that, Richmond?
I just see the Lions having such a hot hand after last week. Seeing Matt Stafford do his thing, get that 2-minute drill W is really great to see. How are you not a Thanksgiving Day fan of Matt Stafford? It's just hard not to be. But like you said, the Colts are a real team. Like, they're a legit contender. And as we all know, Philip Rivers needs to earn that bread, or his family will drive him to bankruptcy. So it's tough. But I don't know. I'm taking the Lions in this. I just think coming off that win, I just see him getting the job done. I think Kenny Golladay is going to have a huge day.
Yeah, I love me some Kenny Golladay.
I think that ends up being another low-scoring game, but I tend to side with the Colts side a little bit more. But I would not be surprised to see a Lions win either.
Yeah, at this point, I agree. Should be a fun one to watch. Got a little Rams-Dolphins action to talk about here.
Two a time, baby.
It's going to be two a time. I see a lot of memes going on in the internet that the first start he's going to have is going to be against Aaron Darnold, who's just or Aaron Donald.
That's a scary man.
Yeah, who's just super hot right now, and you're going to put Tua in there with, his injury history, coming off the hip and whatnot. But, I think it'll be good. I think Dolphins fans should be excited. I mean, you're going to get to see the guy. You drafted him with a 5th overall pick, so, I don't know if right now is maybe the perfect time to throw him out there, but at some point you had to, and, let's just go out there and see what he's got. I think the Dolphins are going to play really, really hard. I think they have great coaching. I think I like the Rams in this game, though. I just think it'll be a little too overwhelming, especially that front seven for Los Angeles for Tua. Maybe he goes out there and cooks up, but I don't really see that. I definitely like the Rams in this one. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Swedish Chef tuning in says he's surprised they pulled Fitz Magic. I agree with that as well. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't really make a lot of sense to pull him mid-season like that, especially when he's playing well.
He's playing amazing.
I know he is really hit or miss, but when he's on, and he's been on the past couple of games. So it was super random for me to pull him midway through the season like that.
Yeah, I would have gave it a couple more weeks, probably at least until they face the Jets again.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there. The Rams defense is absolutely terrifying, both secondary and that D line. But I just don't think that offense has proved its legitimacy to me. I like Jared Goff out there. I'm not trying to shit on him, but just comparing the talent they've been playing against, I don't really think they've had to struggle for their wins. Arguably, their Bills game was really close, but besides that, I don't know. I just see other teams losing the game versus the Rams really coming out and proving their dominance. I don't see them going very far if they even end up making that playoff cut.
Yeah, the Rams division entire division is stacked to the brim. I don't see a route where they make a 1 seed out of the division. They probably finish either 3rd or 4th. But even with that, they still can make the playoffs in the NFC, which would be nice to see.
Yeah, I need a Rams Seattle matchup on that real quick. That'd be a fun one. Just keep going down the line here. We got some Patriots Bills action. I like the Bills here. I listened to a couple other shows today, kind of give their take on the Patriots and where they're at right now. And I think a lot of them are right. I think the Patriots are in a position where I think they just need to realize that, like, hey, we're in a rebuild. I can't see Belichick going like 7-9, for the next couple years or whatever. I think Bill Belichick is smart enough to know that, hey, we just don't have the players this year. We're not going to be very good. Whether Cam Newton is going to be the quarterback there or not for the future, I don't know. But, I think they just need to be bad. I think at the trade deadline, there'll be sellers for the players they have left, which just really aren't that many anymore. But all those players opting out and, obviously Tom Brady going to Tampa, I really only see the Patriots winning 1 or 2 more games for the rest of the year, which might sound crazy. Because I know just the argument is Belichick. He's going to figure it out. But I think Belichick has kind of figured out that, like, that's kind of what they need to do to try to hit the reset button as quick as they can and get that thing moving again in New England. Because, the man's 68 years old. I know they probably have plans either hand it down to McDaniels or maybe one of his kids eventually. But, Belichick could probably coach for another 5 to 10 years. And I think he'd rather have a positive 10 years over, instead of wasting 3 or 4 trying to act like you're a better team than what you are. He's obviously a really great coach, probably the greatest coach of all time, 6 Super Bowls. But at the end of the day, you need players, and they just don't right now. So I kind of see the Bills whomping on them. I don't know about you boys.
Here's another line that just seems off to me. N'Keal Harry and Julian Edelman are both projected to miss this game. Mm-hmm. I don't know who Cam Newton is realistically going to throw to in this game. I couldn't even name another receiver on that team, to be honest. So,
yeah, dude, if they're holding tryouts, I'll go. I'll give me a phone call, dude. I'll go out there and catch a pass or something. I don't know. That's a good question.
I think that Bills Mafia also wants revenge on this Patriots team that has been dumping on them for their entire career. Definitely want to kick them while they're down. And this Bills team is no joke. So, I don't know. This is going to be another exciting one, though.
Yeah, that should be a really good game. Excited to see. I'm just waiting for maybe Cam Newton. I think could win it. I think at the end of the day, Cam Newton himself could probably win you 1 or 2 more games. But
he's got the run for his life in this game. Like I said, I don't know who he's going to throw to in this.
Yeah, they'll see a big run attack.
He's still in a position where he really needs to prove himself too. And like you said, he doesn't have many targets, so it's going to be hard to get that job done.
Well, see, I think that's just one of those half and half deals where it's not all Cam, but part of it is, but part of it's just because the rest of that team just kind of sucks right now, and he doesn't look good because of it. But I don't know. We'll pay attention to that game. Should be good. Move on to the 4 o'clock window of games. Going to see some Chargers Broncos action. I don't really know about this one. I really don't know. I think the teams have better players than what their record shows with both teams, Denver and San Diego. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what you guys think about this one.
Yeah, again, I don't think the Chargers are really a 2-4 football team. They've lost a handful of really close games.
They have.
I think, yeah. I don't think Drew Lock is the guy either in Denver. I don't think he stays around for the rest of the season. I did see a report on Twitter early this week that the Broncos might pursue Sam Darnold in free agency. I found that pretty interesting as well.
We'll take a first for that.
Yeah, I definitely do not hate that for either side. And yeah,
I don't think that'd be a bad situation for Darnold either. But yeah, besides that, I definitely don't think Drew Lock's the answer. I definitely think LA, I keep saying San Diego, the Chargers, they got their quarterback. I think Justin Herbert's going to be there for a while, and then they really just need to really figure out how to build around him. And like you said, the Chargers being 2-4 is definitely surprising, but I think just because of that division you're in, you're going to get beat by Kansas City probably twice a year, and obviously Herbert kind of getting rushed out there week 2, and who has looked great. I mean, he's been playing great football, but and they got the players, solid wide receivers, solid backfield, good guys on the defense. I know Derwin James is out, but yeah, I don't know who I like in this game. This will just be one to watch, and we'll just see from there. I can't really make any predictions.
Give me the Chargers here. Pretty easy one for me, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another one, we got a little Saints-Bears action. I think Michael Thomas is still out. Not sure what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on with him.
They keep saying injury stuff. I feel like it's deeper, but yeah, I don't know. I do like the Saints on this one. I just think the Bears are a little bit of a masquerade going on, but I don't know. That should be a good game. I think the Bears defense will obviously do very well like they do, but I just think, Drew Brees will figure it out and they'll score some tutties on them. I think if the Saints at minimum could get to 17-21, I don't think the Bears are going to be able to match that, or just that offense has just not been good lately.
Depends what Nick Foles you see out there as well. Either is going to go out there and throw 4 touchdowns, or he's going to throw for like 150 and like nothing. So
yeah, that's true.
I got a question for both of you as well. Do you think Trubisky gets the starting job back by the end of the season?
I think he's going to end up deserving a try, at least by the end. And exactly what you said, Nick Foles has such it's a weird X factor.
Him and Fitzpatrick are the same guy.
Mm-hmm. It's like when they're on, they're absolutely killing it. Absolutely accurate, deep balls there, everything, total package. Nick Foles has the NFL record most touchdowns in a game. Like who has that? Like what are you talking about? Just great. You just gotta wait till they turn on. But I don't see Nick Foles staying in Chicago. I said this last week. I don't think that's the right situation. I don't think it's working out. I also think Mitch Trubisky stinks like a pile of shit. So that's a tough situation over there.
Stinky. Yeah, I agree. Should be a good game either way, though. Little 49ers Seahawks action. Again, another little AFC or an NFC. Little NFC. What division? North or West?
NFC West.
NFC West. This one's a little tricky. I don't know. I like the Seahawks, just because the 49ers have just been so banged up, but they figured out how to pull that win away last week. I thought they looked good. The Seahawks had just recently traded for Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals. I know he had been wanting out for a while, and I said on the last show, I think that's exactly what Seattle needs. They need pass rush help, anything to just put pressure on the quarterback to just be able to get yourself maybe out of some of these shootouts that Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are finding themselves in every week against, they 100% should have beat the Cardinals last week. But when you're just letting, D-Hop and Kyler Murray run around the field like that, it's going to be a problem, and they're going to run up some points. But I think I like Seattle. I don't know. I think the 49ers just got too many people out, and then Seattle can take advantage of that.
To be honest, I don't hate the Niners as dogs here. The Seahawks have gotten absolutely ripped apart by every offense they've played.
Yeah.
I like this as a bounce back spot for Jimmy G here. I think Kittle and Ayuk could have big games as well. If you're playing DFS as well and you're playing in tournaments, especially like large field tournaments, I don't hate a 49er stack running it back with like a Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf as well.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from this game completely, not putting any money down. I just think this could go either way because Russ is obviously going to have another game. But that defense, like you said, is just so trash, and they're getting scored on by everyone. And I don't think Jimmy G is any exception to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Old Jimmy G spot with the good hair. All right, and so last game we're going to talk about here, do a little Bucks-Giants action. I mean, do we really think the Giants are going to do anything here?
I would be genuinely shocked if they won this game.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a matter of who's going to win. It's a matter of how many points the Bucks are going to win by. We're going to see the first glimpse of Le'Veon Bell in this game as well. So that would be displaced.
What'd you just say? Wrong game, son.
You're right on that one, but
no, Antonio Brown.
Is he playing this week?
No, I think I don't know.
What's it, week 8? No, yeah, I don't think he's going to be there until week 9. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Fucking idiot. All right, so before we move off the football subject, we want to pull up a little graphic of y'all. We got some Twigg's picks. If you guys want to follow Twigg, it's at Twitter, at TwiggDFS. These are just some locks that he's got for the week, some certified bets for you guys to make out there, if that's your style. I know it's not legal in every state. I currently live in one where I can't do it, but more or less, Twigg, why did you make these picks here? Let's start with the Packers.
All right, start off with the top here. Packers -7. I don't think you get an easier bet than that, realistically. Vikings are bottom 5 in pass and rush coverage. I think this is a good bounce back spot for Aaron Rodgers as well. After he threw the touchdown, the opening drive against the Bucks, he got absolutely rinsed. He threw like 3 picks.
Oh yeah.
Like I mentioned before, I think Devontae Adams has another big game, and I like Jamal Adams quite a bit as well. I think he probably gets 5 or 6 catches out of the backfield. So I think it's just too easy to pass up. I don't know. It just seems like too easy of a pick to pass up to me.
Yeah, I agree. -7. Yeah, I agree. That's a lock. I have Raiders +2.5 too. I really like that.
I do as well. They've beaten a couple good teams as well. They beat the Bucks earlier in the season, and the Browns secondary is super banged up as well. Yeah. I think I might have mentioned this before as well. Derek Carr has been playing lights out lately as well. He's had a couple of good back-to-back games. I like Darren Waller as a good one-off in tournaments as well, as a pretty cheap tight end play. I think Henry Ruggs could also be in play as well. I don't hate that as well. Yeah. I think he might get a long touchdown. And then to run it back, I think Jarvis Landry becomes a target monster after Odell is out.
I agree.
I don't hate Kareem Hunt as well as a DFS play. I think he gets a lot of usage with Nick Chubb gone as well.
Oh yeah.
So
was he out for the year? What was the call on him? I haven't looked.
He's on an IR, so he's at least 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. I'm not sure the exact timetable. It's something like that.
Probably like week 3, week 4, something like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty early.
I like that. The Titan Bengals over 51.5. I think that's a hammer and a half. I know the Titans were also, I think, -6.5, and to think that they wouldn't win that game, I think by a touchdown is. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for sure. That's why the over on the 51.5. I just think the Titans score more, and I probably imagine that's why you locked it in here because you agree, right?
Yeah, I do tend to agree. I think Derrick Henry gets a lot of usage again in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He probably sees at least 20 touches as well.
Easily.
AJ Brown is a good play as well, I believe. you want to get super crazy and off the wall, maybe throw in Adam Humphries if you're feeling frisky.
Hey, man.
And on the Bengals side of things, I think all the receivers that are in play, I don't mind T. Higgins. And AJ Green is becoming a lot more involved here in the past couple weeks as well. He's seen over 8 targets in the past 3 weeks as well. I don't hate that. And Giovanni Bernard is a decent play as well. He did get priced up quite a bit with Joe Mixon being off the field now.
Yeah.
He's missed the past couple weeks. I don't hate that as well. But I think the over is just a slam dunk play in this game.
Slam dunk play. You heard it here first. We're not going to talk about the last thing on the screen right there because
let's talk about that because I actually not on the spread but on the money line. I put a tenner on the old Jets.
I don't care who you're playing. Laying 3 scores against any team is just a lot. If the Jets even play like halfway decent, I think they can cover that. I don't even think it'll be that. It's not even that much of a reach, I don't think. So if you're feeling frisky and want to just throw a dart throw out there, Jets plus 19.5.
I'm definitely frisky on that.
Frisky feline, baby. I don't know, dude. I don't know. They played not all the way bad last week. They only scored 10 points.
They didn't let up a touchdown last week. They let up 6 field goals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll see. I just think they're trying to lose on purpose, but
I think they're going to sneak one. And, wouldn't it be a great story if it's against KC?
I don't think they win outright for sure, but I could definitely see them covering 19.5.
I see Kansas scoring 150, dude, if they wanted to. Like, realistically, that's a
I don't even think Pat Holmes plays the full game. They might throw Chad. It might be. Is it Chad Pennington? Is their backup?
I didn't even think he was still in the league.
Maybe I'm tripping about that, but
I was like,
I don't know.
2000. I could definitely see that a little third quarter, halfway through, a little Mahomes sub out. God, that's embarrassing. But yeah, all right. So I mean, you guys heard it here first. Those are Twigg's picks. Lock them in. If he feels sure about them, I trust him, so I'd go with him. If you guys want to hear more or follow more of any Twigg's DFS picks and whatnot, follow him right there down at the bottom at Twigg DFS on Twitter. All right, I think we just move it along here. Want to go right into first thing I want to do. Congratulate the Los Angeles Dodgers on winning the World Series, their first one since 1998 or 1988 against the Tampa Bay Rays. Really, really cool to see. It's finally cool to see Kershaw get his first ring. A guy who's obviously going to be a Hall of Famer, has been dominant in this league for, ever since he's been in it. Will probably go down as one of the better pitchers to ever play the game. And to finally see him win a championship is really, really cool. Going there the past 3-4 years and just not winning one. And obviously everything that happened in 2017 with the Astros and them kind of feeling cheated, which they did. But what are you going to do? So I thought that was cool to see. I'm not sure. I should have looked up who was the MVP of that, Twig. Do you know?
Corey Seager.
Okay. Yep. Not mad at that. I mean, feels like, the past 5 years or so, the Dodgers have just been absolutely stacked. And then obviously bringing in Mookie and it's cool to see him get another ring. And I do want to take my hat off to the Tampa Bay Rays, man, for playing really, really hard. Kind of an underdog all season. I mean, the Rays feel like those are one of those teams that they're always in that conversation. Just kind of have never been able to go over the hump. I think they got a really good culture down there in Tampa, as far as just playing hard and guys that just want to win. And we saw in Game 6, Blake Snell getting pulled. What was it? Top of the 6th?
Either top. I think it might have been end of the 6th, top of the 7th. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, after I think he had only pitched 70s, I think low 70 pitches.
And let up one hit.
And they yanked him. I know you're asking if, would it go to Game 7 if they possibly kept him in there? I mean, I don't know. The next guy's up. I think I'm trying to think who's in the lineup. I know Mookie was up next, and he had been dealing all night. And I think to pull him. Yeah, I mean, the 70 pitches as it is, that's just super low. I mean, Blake Snell's a Cy Young winner. I mean, to think that he wouldn't be able to get that under control after one hit, I just don't know.
It's just straight up the wrong move, I think.
Yeah.
What in that game, their 1 through 3 hitters went 0 for 6 with like 6 strikeouts, I believe.
Yeah.
So I don't see why anything would have changed the third time through the rotation. It was just just a bad move.
Yeah, I agree, and that'll probably be one of those things that we talk about for the next couple of years, a what if situation, because I definitely agree. And then we'll talk about the weirdest situation I think I've ever seen. I know other people have been talking about it. We're not the first ones to the punch, but Josh Turner leaving the game in the second inning because he had tested positive for COVID. So here's what I don't even understand how this works. So they probably take a test right before the game, right?
Mhm.
Or the minute they all show up in the stadium. You let the guy go out there and play. You end up pulling him because he tests positive for COVID. And then we saw him later on celebrating with the team, and people are having this fit about he shouldn't have been out there celebrating. It's like dude played like halfway through the game or whatever, and it's like he was already out there. And I just don't understand how you find out halfway to get through the game or whatever that he tested positive, and then B to then he's just already out there. I don't want to make it sound like I don't want people to be safe and whatnot. It's not something to like laugh about, but that just makes no sense to me that. Yeah,
Don't even know how the game started if they didn't have results back. I don't even know how they let it get that far.
Could have been a false positive, or that's what I'm saying. I would imagine they would have all those results back before.
Yeah, how's that not squared away? Exactly.
But they won, and he came out and celebrated. I saw a lot of people, getting upset on Twitter that he shouldn't have been out there. And it's like, well, the dude had already been around everybody, the whole thing, So, we'll see. He might have potentially just killed the whole Dodgers organization, Literally. But I guess we'll see. I don't know. That's just a weird situation.
It didn't really matter. Anyway, if the season's over, you can pretty much do what you want at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still not a great look for him, like out there making out with his wife and hugging his teammates. But
definitely not a good look.
It's definitely not. He's a good ball player too, man. I like him, but yeah, dude, you're just out there sucking face with your old lady, dude. You got COVID. It's like, what are we doing here? But anyways, tip the hat to both teams. Congratulations to the Dodgers. That's awesome to see. We'll see what happens. How baseball is going to operate going forward.
Yeah, I just want to say on a side note too, we were talking about this a little bit last show. Like, how do you make baseball more interesting? Because me, I'm just like a casual person, and I'm just not really into it. But I was never really into NBA until really about 4 years ago, and I just started watching a couple games. A couple turned into more, and I really got into the sport. But baseball just does not have that same attraction to me. Like, I just can't get into it. And the World Series, like the Super Bowl, like the World freaking Series was just on, and I didn't watch 2 minutes of it.
It's the $1 million question. I don't even know what you do. Did you just let them use metal bats at this point? Just let them crank like 500 feet home runs every play?
I think that's the difference between, because like you said, you were never really into the NBA until a couple of years ago. I was the opposite. I was always into baseball. Baseball is my life until I transitioned away from baseball and into more football and basketball. I think the contrast between those two is if you were never a fan of baseball, I low-key just don't think you ever will be. I just think it's too much of a patience type sport to where you could flip on a basketball game and watch some dude dunk his nuts in somebody's face within half a second, and it's just way more exciting, and it's much more of a players league, and more star oriented. With baseball, I don't know, because I feel like in the past couple of years with baseball, that's kind of all we've seen. We've just seen guys getting strikeouts, or they're going to hit a home run. Small ball has completely gone away, which I'm a big fan of. A lot of teams just don't play like that anymore. We're just starting to see more of the Aaron Judge type characters, which I don't think is a bad thing. When baseball was at its most popular and was America's sport, was in the 80s with all the steroids, dudes shooting horse roids into their ass and just going out there and smacking balls out into the water and whatnot. So I kind of thought that's what people would want to see, because that's what we've been seeing. And we saw, even though they were cheating 2017, the Houston Astros just had an electric season. Those dudes at home were just smacking balls every single night. But yeah, I really don't know. I really do think, though, I mean, especially in your case, just because I know you, speak for you. I don't think if you ever were a fan of baseball, you probably ever will be. I just think it is way too hard to get into if it was never really your style. Because just, yeah, football and basketball are just so much more. I'd even argue hockey. You could get into hockey easier than you could baseball, if you never really played baseball growing up or anything. But I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. I think they need to start with getting Manfred the fuck out of there. Just don't think he's a good commissioner. I don't know. Like I said, 162 games is a lot. I think that's one of the biggest things, He's 162 games is so much, but I don't think that'll ever go away. So I don't know. I don't know. Baseball's slowly going away, and I just don't really see it making that a surgence. That's not a word, is it? Whatever. For a while. But more or less, like you said, World Series, Dodgers won. Good for them. We'll move on. Speaking of leagues going forward, we can talk really quickly about some NBA talks. It was the Nets. Nets just hired D'Antoni. Someone else, who was it? I think someone else to the assistant coaching, which is going to be weird. D'Antoni being the assistant coach under Steve Nash, just because Steve Nash played for D'Antoni and D'Antoni got him 2 MVPs. So it's going to be weird to see how that offense runs. I still think it's weird that Steve Nash has a head coaching job. I mean, for the last year or two, he's been a soccer analyst. So I don't really know what he knows much about coaching. I know he was a very great player. And, we'll start to see if, that Nets offense kind of takes shape into what D'Antoni was doing in Houston. I think they got the shooters, obviously, between KD and Dinwiddie, LeVert, and Kyrie to maybe recreate some form of that offense. But I definitely think it'll be better. But I think that'll be cool to see. We were talking last show how completely slept on and forgot I think the Nets have been, just because we haven't seen Kyrie and KD together yet. But I think that's going to be a scary team, especially, if they got pieces to make a deal, maybe get a third really big name in there, Bradley Beal or such. But, I don't know what you think. We were talking about some early favorites in the East and the West, and I think, they could be right up there in that conversation. My biggest thing with just how this next season of NBA is going to go, like I said, I definitely think the playoff teams we saw this year are probably going to be the playoff teams next year. In the Western side of things, I definitely think the Warriors come back, but then I don't really know who gets knocked off that list. The West is already just as hard as it is and stacked, and the teams like the Nuggets and Utah are going to get better. Maybe Portland, but there's going to be a really good odd man out in the West, I think, which isn't going to be the case with the East. But there's going to be one team, the 9th seed, if you want to call it, is probably going to have a winning record in that division. But I don't really know who that's going to be. What do you think, Twig?
I'd say probably either, gun to my head right now, it's probably Grizzlies or the Suns. They were both like a few games from making the playoffs in the bubble.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see, though, before the December start. There's going to be a lot of moving parts still. So it's kind of hard to tell what rosters are going to be set and which ones aren't going to make any moves. So before any of that, I would still say Lakers are probably definitely the favorite in the West. And in the East, I would say right now, Nets, it's got to be – I would probably say the Nets right now, just on paper.
On paper, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, obviously the Bucks will probably be right there. Boston might try to make a move. I saw something about Boston trying to get Millsap from the Denver, which I think would be great for their system. The only thing with Boston is going to be, I know they really want to get off of Gordon Hayward. There's been talks about Gordon Hayward to the Indianapolis Pacers. I think if they could get off his contract, it'd be a great move for them to go, maybe get a big man. But I don't think you do. He's got like a $30 million option, and I wouldn't be declining that. So you guys are going to pay me my money if I got a $30 million option. But yeah, we'll see. I definitely think Lakers West favorites. There's been some talks of Rondo potentially signing with the Clippers. Just because I think over the past 2 years he's only made about $6 million, and obviously him being a really big part of the Lakers winning a championship, I think he's going to get a payday. I think he deserves it. But if the Lakers want to make some better moves, I think they'd have to let that go. And I think if Rondo does go to the Clippers, that'll be dangerous. I definitely think the Clippers will be right there again. Whether you want to call this the playoffs a fluke or whatnot, I think they'll be there. Yeah, I like the Lakers, Clippers, and the Warriors, as front runners right now, but we'll see. We'll see maybe what Houston can do, who they hire as a head coach. I don't know if there's been any talks of who's going to run that show, but
tell you right now, Harden and Russ together are never going to win anything.
Ever. And I don't know who you move off of, how you make that work, but I 100% agree. I think the era of them with that D'Antoni offense and just scoring as many threes as they can, it's obviously proven to win a lot of regular season games. It's obviously proven to benefit whoever the star of the team is, and a guy like James Harden, who offensively is just amazing, who's going to look good, MVP. But as far as winning a championship, I don't think that'll just ever work. And especially with those two guys there, just two ball dominant guys, and Russell Westbrook not being a very good shooter. Yeah, I just don't see that operation working.
Especially with PJ Tucker at the 5, that will never work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's about, like we've said before, every league is a copycat league, and we just saw the Lakers win with like 4 big dudes. So maybe we start to see teams maybe try to do that, because you're going to have to stop Anthony Davis from the Lakers. That's going to be a problem. We'll move off some NBA. We'll just some light nuggets with the NBA. We'll keep in touch with more stuff we hear. Last thing we want to talk about real quick before we hop off of here is a quick little UFC preview of this Saturday, tomorrow night. We get a UFC fight night main event, Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva. Twig, what do you think?
I think Anderson Silva's going to retire on an L myself. He's about a plus 260 dog right now. I don't expect either fighter to shoot for a takedown. I think it stays purely striking.
Yeah, 100%.
But just at this point in Anderson Silva's career, I just don't see him matching up well against Uriah Hall. I don't know if either of them knock each other out. I think it ends up going to decision, but I don't think Anderson Silva gets it done in his retirement fight.
A cat in the background, I hear?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I agree with you.
Shoot, what do you got?
That's it. I'm taking Uriah Hall.
Yeah, I like Uriah Hall. I got another fight I'm looking forward to see was Greg Hardy and
wait here. Let's look at this whole card here. It's actually a pretty decent little card put together. I like these fights. I like Bryce Mitchell, the UFC's homegrown hillbilly.
Yes,
Gotta love that.
Got his camo shorts.
Camo shorts. You got Maurice Green, Greg Hardy. It's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm excited for this. This is gonna be good little fights.
Yeah, I was telling you, Twig, the other day, I'd like to see if Hardy wins, I'd like to see a Hardy Walt Harris matchup, because we kind of talked about Walt Harris and the personal stuff he's gone through, and then him kind of taking a couple L's. I'd like to see them kind of give him a fight where I think he'd win that fight against Hardy, and I think Hardy's good. Hardy obviously has the power, just needs a little bit more technique. But I think if he could figure some stuff out, his potential to be dangerous. He's shown that dude. He's got a couple knockout clips, dude. It's pretty.
Just
nasty.
as a pure athletic standpoint, he is a freak. He's played professional football for the Cowboys for a couple of years. He made a couple of Pro Bowls as well.
Panthers
but
too.
Against the top echelon guys in the heavyweight division, I just don't think technique-wise he'll ever hold up. He might crack the top 10, but I don't think he'll ever be contender in the heavyweight division.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I definitely see him hanging around that 10 to 15 area for, I just think he gets bested by guys with more technique, but he is a very solid athlete, freaky athlete. But so that should be a good fight. I'd like to see him win. And yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know. What do you guys got? Anything else? Anything else we need to talk about? We missed any thoughts, hot takes? What we got?
I think that just about do it. I'm ready for another NFL Sunday.
Yes, sir. As we are. Get your beers ready. Get your pizza going. Should be some good games.
I'm excited to see some birds on some prime time.
Birds on some prime time.
Sir.
Cowboys week is different. The locker room's going to be hype. I don't know. I got expectations high, which is a terrible thing to hope for, but I don't know. I just think they get it done.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we wrap things up here. We're gonna do something a little different this week. When we cut off of here, you guys are gonna see a timer come up for about 5 minutes. That's because we're gonna come back, have a little second show called the Meat Pack After Dark. We're gonna have a couple more buddies in here, and we're just gonna talk about some shit, anything other than football. So if you guys want to stick around for that, we'll be on for about an hour or so, however long it takes. But we appreciate you guys watching. This was the Meat Pack Sports Podcast, episode 4 or 5. I don't know what the fuck episode it was, but it was a good one. Thanks for watching. Let's get the fuck out of here. Salami Squad! Woo!